Hello guys, welcome back to this channel. Today we're reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Some people might call this one better than the original Amazing Spider-Man, but I say no. I don't have much else to say, but I think we can get into it. Go check out my Spider-Man playlist. Watch all of my reviews so far. I've reviewed all three Tom Hollands, all three Maguires. I reviewed the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie, now I'm reviewing the second. So I think we can get into it. Starting off with what this movie's about. This movie has Peter Parker sort of after he graduates, trying to figure out what to do with Gwen after the promise he made Gwen's father when he died in The Amazing Spider-Man. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but whatever. And then that continues here, and then there's a bunch of relationship drama. Harry Osborn comes in. You're supposed to buy in their relationship, I guess. And then villain comes, and so you have then Electro who gets himself into a tank of electric eels, gets electrocuted over and over again, and becomes Electro. Chaos ensues with him and other stuff. Harry Osborn is trying to deal with this disease, trying to fight it off, and trying to ask blood for Spider-Man, and stuff happens. Two main plot lines, plus a third involving the conspiracy of Peter's parents. Got a little bit more information. What I mean by a little bit is a dump load of information on Peter's parents, and good or bad, but whatever. Now you have the good, and the main thing, just like Amazing Spider-Man, I think overall, this movie handles the relationship between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield quite nicely. I think the actors do a great job. I wish it could have been handled a little bit better because I think it makes Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, a little unlikable, like when he's deciding whether to get with Gwen or not. It's just kind of frustrating at times, but I think both the actors do play it quite nicely, and I think it all really works, just like The Amazing Spider-Man, if not even a little bit better. And overall, I think the large-scale New York to it, this feels like Spider-Man swinging in New York, and there's some great action sequences. First one had only one great action sequence, and it was the one at the school, and I think there are three main action sequences. There are four main action sequences in this movie. Three of them are great. One of them is okay, but I think mostly because the villain. The first action sequence is the one with Rhino. It's okay. I don't hate it. But I don't like Rhino at all. I'll talk about that later. And then you have the action and then fast forward a bit later, you have the action sequence in Times Square. Next one, you kind of have I feel like there's one more. Then next one I think is literally the final battle which is kind of split into two parts. But I mean, whatever. The visuals I think are at the best so far. I think they're all great. Some of the slow-mo during the Times Square action sequence all really works. And overall, I think this movie brings entertainment and fun. I think this is a pretty watchable Spider-Man movie for the most part, and I do think this one is a lot of fun. Andrew Garfield is just as funny as he was, specifically as Spider-Man, just as he was in The Amazing Spider-Man, if not even funnier. And overall, I think him cracking jokes during Spider-Man, which is kind of fun to see in No Way Home, to be honest. And overall, all of that really works. Now we get into the mix. Just like the last two Spider-Man reviews, I think Electro, specifically Electro, I'll talk about Green Goblin and Rhino a little bit. I think overall, I don't hate Electro like some people do. I don't mind his look, actually. It's kind of cool, and the CGI is all great. His power set's really cool. But my problem here, they borrow some of the cheesiness from Batman Forever, similar to the Riddler, and has the same plot line where the villain has scorn for the hero, and then next time he sees the hero, has shown himself to be more powerful. I don't care for that sort of, it's kind of like Syndrome from The Incredibles, sort of. That time it worked, because that was the first time they actually have done that. Batman Forever, I think, did that first, but still, whatever. I don't hate Electro. I think he's fine. A bit cheesy. I think the voice is weird. I think his villain theme is great. And really, I actually don't mind the score, to be honest. And I don't hate it. I like the main Spider-Man theme. I like Electro's theme, actually. I don't like a lot of the music things that they put in the final battle. I thought that was a little weird. The Green Goblin themes are alright. I think a lot of the villain themes all really work for me, for the most part. And overall, I think all of that's pretty good for the most part. Now the bad. The main thing in the bad, just too many plot lines. Like literally, there's so many. Like there's the plot line about Gwen and Peter. There's the plot line about Harry and the whole disease thing, which that one doesn't work at all. There's the one with Peter's parents. There's another one involving Electro. There's one involving there's a very minor plot line in whatever. So there's too many main plot lines. There's like 4 main plot lines in this movie: the Harry Osborn stuff, the Gwen Stacy stuff, the Electro stuff, and the Peter's parents. That one's more of a side plot, but still. And none of them really all work together. This is enough plot lines for 2 Spider-Man movies. What they could have done is that they had Electro as Amazing Spider-Man 2. They develop Harry Osborn, and then they have the whole disease plot line in Spider-Man 3. You have 2 villains in Amazing Spider-Man 3, or else I think it would be it would be kind of dull for the first part of it, where Harry Osborn is trying to deal with this, and then he comes in for the last, and then so Spider-Man. There's 2 villains throughout it. First one could be I don't know, some villain in this movie. Let's say this movie's 2 hours and a half. The first villain comes in for the first hour and 5th hour of the movie, and he gets introduced right off the get-go. That could be the Rhino, make him a bit better, and then because where Amazing Spider-Man 2 left off, and then put Green Goblin, and then get Harry Osborn develop, Spider-Man fighting a bit more minor threats in the meantime, and then he becomes Harry Osborn. Comes in for you have a lot of development there. Comes in for a couple actions. You have one action sequence earlier where he takes Gwen. Oh, okay, I'm going too far. I'll make a video on this. If I end up creating that Jacob Movie Talk Plus channel, I'll create a video about this. Whatever. So overall, I do quite enjoy this movie, and but there's too many plot lines, but I do think I'm always entertained throughout it. And overall, that's kind of what I have to say. There's not much else that's bad in it. I don't hate Green Goblin. I think Dane DeHaan in the role is actually perfectly fine. I hate Rhino though. He's just so ridiculous and over the top. Advertised as a main villain, not delivered on it whatsoever. That was lame. And then and then on the other side you have Green Goblin, who literally comes in for one action sequence, and that's it. And that's the game. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say in the bad. This movie's final score, I'm gonna give it a 4.9 out of 10. I actually do quite enjoy this movie. It is entertaining, but there's so many plot lines. I think that the action sequences are good. It's entertaining, but all the plot lines, none of the villains are all that good. I don't hate Electro. He's fine. I don't hate Green Goblin. I don't really like him that much either. I hate Rhino though. So very mixed bag movie. It is fun though. It is fun to see these characters. But overall, I think a lot of the bottom Spider-Man movies like Venom, Spider-Man 3, and this could all be at the bottom, really. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming out in this movie. What you think of it? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? I might sound like I'm talking positive, but I'm not a huge fan of this movie, to be honest. I don't hate it like some people do. I don't really like it all that much like other people do. There's some cool action sequences, but the whole story and the way it comes together really doesn't work. So, tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Adios.